That's a little bit more like it. That's what you do. You lead at halftime by 15. You win the game by double that. Won the first half by 15. Won the second half by 15. Indiana gets the W 77-47. Sam Alexis played out of his mind. Best game as a Hoosier. I think his best game as a collegian. Tucker DeVries led the entire time. Nick Dorn, really, really good. Double digits. That's key. 6-1. Indiana is now with Nick Dorn scoring in double digits while in Big Ten play. It's a really good game. This is kind of fun. I could get used to this kind of thing. And what it does, it sets up Indiana for a game on Saturday, late afternoon, 5:30 start against Ohio State in Columbus. That's kind of for all the marbles, kind of a play-in game, I think. I think the team that wins that game goes to the NCAA tournament, and the team that loses that game is going to wind up going to the NIT or refusing an NIT bid and going home. I love the vibe of the whole game. I thought it was really, really good right from the start. I thought Minnesota was a step slow, and Indiana was a step faster than it's been. The rebounding, not great, but you know what? They didn't need it because they made a whole bunch of shots. Lamar Wilkerson, really, really good. Dorn, good. Enright, really good. Alexis was terrific in the first half. And that's how this thing works. It's kind of like football. Football, we've been talking for days about Alec Pierce and the need to have Alec Pierce because it opens up the spacing of the defense, and the offense can take advantage of that. If they're dropping the secondary deep, Jonathan Taylor's got room to run. With this, like Indiana wants to shoot a bunch of threes. If you don't let people extend the defense out of the three-point shooters, because Sam Alexis, if you do, is going to score himself about 48 damn points, you know what? You got a real chance to win that game, and that's what happened. Minnesota just didn't do a good job taking away Alexis. Alexis made Minnesota pay with 17 points in the first half, and that was all she wrote. Once they decided they needed to stop Alexis, the game opened up, and you got 3-point shots from Nick Dorn that were unopposed. Wilkerson unopposed. DeVries, every once in a while challenged, but the kid made them anyway. It was senior night. What a great celebration for the seniors. DeVries and Alexis and Enright and Conaway. Conaway, not the best of senior nights, but that's okay. We're not going to carp about that. We're not going to complain about winning. This is an Optimism Wednesday. We don't need any help being optimistic. Whoa, what have I done? Totally forgot. It's been a while since I've worn this hat. It's been a while since Indiana's won. Got to wear the hat as we discuss a victory, for God's sake. What are we doing? When your seasons don't know what to think about it, I'll tell you what you think about it tonight. You think, hell yeah, let's go. Because it's a win. It's a 30-point win. We don't argue with winning. I don't know whether, is Connor Enright going to think of himself as a Hoosier, as a Drake? Are they the Bulldogs? As a DePaul Blue Demon? You know, when he's 40 years old, drinking a beer at a bar, telling people how good he was? I have no idea. But tonight, he's a Hoosier. And tonight, Indiana rocked Minnesota's world to the tune of a 30-point cakewalk, and it was awesome. Let's talk about the numbers, because the numbers do tell this story, right? Nice that this game, nice and early, right? And it ended quickly. We like that. And by the way, while I'm getting to the box score of this contest, we want to do two things. We want to acknowledge the loss of Lou Holtz, died at the age of 89 today. A state of Indiana football coaching legend. He coached at Notre Dame for a significant portion of his life and won a national championship. Notre Dame's final national championship, 1988. And so we mourn with all football fans who lament the loss of Lou Holtz. And we want to talk about Terry Morin and the women I went to that game. Indiana trailed by 20, and they looked dead in the water. And then all of a sudden, Shea Shesky said, no, I'm not done playing basketball, and she went to work. Lene Beaumont went to work, hitting the three that gave Indiana their first lead. Indiana wins by 3 over Nebraska, and Nebraska's got to be like, what the hell just happened to us? We had this game in the bag. Not quite. Tonight, you knew you had to stop Cade Tyson, and Indiana did a good job stopping Cade Tyson. He had 16 in the first half, wound up with 21 for the game. That means, ipso facto, he scored 5 in the second half, and that is just fine. Minnesota shot 32% from the field, 24% from beyond the arc, 67% from the line, including an air ball that was about 3 feet short. Yay! Let's talk about what Indiana did. How about Sam Alexis? 9 of 11 from the field for 23 points. He was back to being the guy who, over the course of, 5 games? He was 24 of 25 from the field. Might have been 4 games. He was 24 of 25. Tucker DeVries, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc tonight. Nick Dorn, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. 4 of 7 for Lamar Wilkerson. Enright had 4 points. But Alexis 23, Wilkerson 16, DeVries 13, Dorn 11. What a nice night for this, and they earned it. 17 assists on 31 made buckets, 3 steals, 4 blocks, 7 offensive rebounds, 30 30 defensive rebounds. Total, they had 37, and Minnesota had 24. There is not a statistical category where Indiana did not dominate. When you outshoot a team 57% from the field to 32%, you're going to win by 30, if not more than that. The 3-pointers, Indiana hit 10. That's good. 10 of 24. They were 5 of 8 from the line. Not a great night from the line, but that's okay. Turnovers had 10. This is good. I really don't, I'm kind of in sort of one of those modes where we talk a lot with Indiana. We talk a lot about what we can complain about now. You know, after that 4-game losing streak was hideous and awful. The loss against Northwestern in particular, awful. If not for that game, this team is 10-9 in the Big Ten instead of 9-10. And instead of playing a game on Saturday late afternoon in Columbus to get to 10-10, they would be playing a game to get to 11-9. At 11-9, they are ensconced in the field of 68, but really the field is 64. With his 30-point win, I wonder if that washes kind of the sleep out of the eyes of the committee, the selection committee, and they decide, you know what, 30 points, that's a hell of a win. Nice hat. You're damn right, Fireman Jeff. It's not as nice a hat as you wear professionally. The fire helmet, those are awesome. But you know what? On a night where Indiana won, you got to have the trident. You got to have the feathers, because by God, you really can't see the feathers, which is a shame. But I can't do the video like this. You know what I mean? I look ridiculous. So I do it like this. And I'm happy to do it that way. Your IU logo is backwards. You're very funny. I appreciate the humor. 43-28 in the first half, 34-19 in the second half. Indiana now 18-11 on the season, 9-10 in the Big Ten. If they win in Columbus, they get to 19-12 for the regular season, 9-10 in the 10-10 in the Big Ten. Then you go to Chicago. And in Chicago, the way this thing is, the way it sets up, I'm not sure who they would play, but they're not going to be very good because I think Indiana would play on Wednesday. Wednesday team's not very good. The really good teams in the Big Ten tournament don't play until Friday. Those are the top 4 teams. I think Indiana's got a shot to beat anybody else in the Big Ten. A shot to beat them. Doesn't mean they're gonna. We know. Iowa beat Indiana down at Assembly Hall. Nebraska beat Indiana. Indiana beat UCLA. They lost to USC. I know it can happen. We all know that. According to KenPom usually does these really on the quick. So we'll see whether this is up and whether their ranking has changed. And they moved from 43 to 42. So not a big change. And now, instead of a 32% chance to beat Ohio State, they got a 35% chance to beat Ohio State, which doesn't mean it got a damn thing. It doesn't. Doesn't mean a thing. What it means is that Indiana played really good basketball tonight, and hopefully, because of the really good basketball they played tonight, they carry some momentum into Columbus, and off you go. Indiana had Nebraska down 16 at home and lost. They did. The last 14 minutes were awful, just terrible. This is a better team than we thought after either of the 4-game losing streaks, and it's not as good as we think tonight. That's for sure. I'll get with you about one of my hats. You should have one. I'd love one. I would wear it with pride. Like the National Football Championship in the background. Yes, look at that. My son gave that to me for my birthday. We've got the IU champs. You got the Sports Illustrated cover page. You've got the Herald Times cover page. And you've got a photo of Cignetti holding the trophy over his head like this. Whoop. I don't think this would be a very effective fire helmet. I don't think. And I don't think firefighters would find it funny for me to, storm into a fire wearing this. In fact, I'm relatively certain, just by feeling the construct of it, I got to believe that it's flammable. So, no, I would not wear this into a fire. Who would believe IU football won a championship? Still in shock, freaking awesome. Which is more shocking, that Indiana won the game by 30 tonight, or that Indiana beat Miami in the national championship game on their home field? How about that? It would definitely, the feathers would definitely burn. Somebody needs to get Cignetti to show up to IU Ohio State game. He's a good luck charm. There, I got to tell you, the way this guy works, he does not deviate from routine. And unless he was planning already to be in Columbus, Ohio, he isn't going to Columbus. If he had a recruit to visit that maybe he could bring to the game and show him how Hoosiers operate, be nice to beat a good team in the tourney, that'd get us in. I think beating Ohio State gets you in. Why can't they play like this every game? I was waiting. I knew somebody was going to come with that. We do not ask for that. We just say thank you for them to have played that way tonight. Hey, Kent, with NIL deals, you never hear of collegiate academically ineligible. You don't hear that. But they're really good at keeping the guys eligible. A lot of the class, who is the guy? Nick, who is it? Zeisloft. Remember him? From suburban Chicago, went to Illinois State, and then transferred to Indiana. So I had him on my radio show, and I said, Nick, when you went to classes at IU, what was the difference at IU, where he got his MBA, from when you were at Illinois State? And he said, classes? No, all my classes were online. So that might explain a little bit of the academic eligibility issues with these players. They take most of their tests and their classes. They do that virtually. Hard to fail a virtual course. Does NIL have as big an effect in basketball compared to football? It does. Alexis got involved to basket. That opens everything. It did. It did. I thought Minnesota did a terrible job taking him away, and I'm glad they did. Purdue at Northwestern tonight. Who you picking? I got Northwestern with a bullet. I love Northwestern in this game. I think they're coming into their own. They're playing hard. I think they shut the Boilermakers down. Dan Dockich told us today on his radio show, Braden Smith, a little bit full of himself. And that has become a problem for the Boilermakers, and that's from somebody who knows. Cignetti doesn't need to worry about how IU does things. All IU sports need to do things his way. That's not false. It might look more like a fire helmet in a silent movie era. Yeah, maybe Buster Keaton wore a hat like this into a fire, just grabbed the wrong hat out of his locker, went down the fire pole, and got on the truck. Maybe that's like Keystone Cops nonsense, isn't it? Let's see. Wouldn't it be something if Cignetti did come? What would the throng at the Ohio State game think about, like Kurt Cignetti sitting in the grandstand someplace. What is it, Value City Arena or whatever it is? I I don't think that would be popular. They'd show him on the jumbotron, and people would lose their minds. I've never slid down a fire pole. Oh, you got to do that. Just like recreate the Ghostbusters. I know they don't have those anymore, but it's a shame because I always thought it was the coolest part of the job. Which mid-major will take Purdue out in the first round this year? Wouldn't it be nice if it was Miami of Ohio? That'd be kind of fun. But I got to tell you, I'm in line, and I've told you, I went to a Miami of Ohio game. They beat Ohio not Ohio State, but Ohio when I went there a few weeks ago. And I really thought, you know what? I don't think they'd win a game in the Big Ten. I don't think they got that guy. I think you got to have a guy. If you're in the MAC, and NIL has killed this because transfer rules being what they are and NIL being what they are, you're not leaving. Or you are leaving. You're not staying. Your wheels up. If Purdue says, hey, we got $750,000 for you, people are going to leave. So it's like getting the best mediocre players you possibly can. It's not like when they had Wally Zerbiak or Ron Harper at Miami of Ohio. Peter Suter is a really good player, was a terrific high school player at Carmel. I don't think he can play Big Ten basketball, tell you the truth, night in, night out. Signetti should have his own entrance music like the WWE. If Bob Knight was a general, then Signetti needs an awesome nickname like the Judge or the Godfather. I'm with you. You know what? You can have more than one general in an army, can't you? It was a beautiful day. Might backfire Signetti showing up. Crowd would be nuts all night. Might motivate Ohio State more than IU. That's absolutely true. Edward, hey, Cat. Hey, you. Hey, you, Edward. If we win Saturday, we're in. If we lose, we need 2 tournament wins. I think that's just about right. I've rescued a cat from a tree. Well, that's good. I've never rescued a cat from a tree. I am not going to climb a tree and risk falling down and hurting my head for a cat. Cats know how to get down from trees. They're going to get down on their own. They don't need help getting down from. They got up in the tree. They can get down. When they land, they jump. They land on all 4 feet all the time. Someone should send them a ticket. I think that'd be a good thing. Maybe Dolson can do that. Go Hoosiers basketball. Will Purdue ever get their first title under Matt Painter? Seems like an awesome coach. Just can't get it done. Meanwhile, Signetti in year 2, hold my beer. Yeah, I don't think that. But I didn't think Indiana could get one. So I don't know about Matt, and I don't know about Purdue. I hope he gets one eventually. I think if they were going to get one, they would have gotten it last year. When they had Edey, that team had a big that really focused attention down low. Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Wren, and Fletcher Lawyer as components. That just kind of worked in a way that what they've got just doesn't in the same way. I don't see Clough as a guy who measures up to Edey in any way, nor Jacobson. What Colts player was disgruntled when you brought up Ohio State losing? Oh, JT Tuimoloau. And I did it twice. I tried to relitigate it, which I said, hey, JT, boy, hey, and yeah, he wasn't having it. Just, that was the look I got. Like, you got to be kidding me. What are you doing here at my locker again? You out of your mind? He is a very, very nice guy, though. NBA draft pick A.J. Devonsis says he might not leave college. A.J. can't be serious. Hey, the BYU kids, I take them serious when they say stuff that nobody else would say. Because who goes to BYU? I don't believe he's going to stay. I can't believe he's going to do that. But if he does, God bless him. You know what? There's more to life than making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Did you hear Pearl say Akron is a better team than Miami of Ohio? Seems to be doubling down against them deserving to make the tournament. Miami beat Ohio by that much twice. And once, I think, in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check that. That's a great note. Miami, as long as I'm on the KenPom page already, Yeah, 70, 76, 73. And where'd the other one? Wait a minute. Who made it close twice? Buffalo made it close twice. Akron made it close once. Akron won by 3. And Buffalo, Miami beat them by 3 in overtime and then beat them by 2 on February 3rd. They've got Ohio left at Ohio. Ohio's not very good. Ohio's got like some odd fits. Either really, really skinny and good shooters, just a bunch of like, there's reasons some guys go to the MAC and some guys go to the Big Ten. And that will never be more true than watching Miami of Ohio play against Ohio University this weekend. Purdue fans are getting toxic. Watch out, everyone. Have my firstborn son on his way in April. Can't wait to get him. Congratulations. That's awesome. Your life is going to change forever and for better. It's awesome. 100%. Can't these NIL contracts open to the public? No. They're not, because they're not with the school. They're with NIL collectives. And they're not employees. If they were employees, that contract would be open to the public, but it's not open to the public. Freedom of Information Act requests do not apply to what goes down between the NIL collectives and the players. And by the way, I don't think there ought to be any limits, and I don't think there ought to be any committee that looks over them. I don't know why those exist. And I don't know to whose benefit they exist, to tell you the truth. Playing more up-tempo gave IU better shots. It did, but you got to be careful because you're really playing about a 7-man rotation. And so if you just run, if you haul ass the entire game, you're kind of running a marathon at a sprinter's pace, and that's going to cost you late. Maybe that's what happened against Nebraska. Maybe that's why they hit that wall. I don't know. It seems like everybody's in very good shape right now, though. And that's a good thing as we head into that big game on Saturday. But we'll see. Babies are awesome. They are. It's the best. It's the best part of your life. And watching your kid maintain who he is. Here's my, I'm a pawpaw now. I love my job. Fireman Jeff, that's awesome. I'd love to see Miami of Ohio versus IU in the play-in game. That would be fun, but it won't happen because I think if Miami of Ohio gets in, they're going to win their tournament. And if they win their tournament, they're going to be undefeated, and they're not going to be seeded 16th. But they could be seeded 11th. I don't know. I think they'll get a solid seed. But that brings up a good point. Where are they right now, according to Joe Lunardi? That is a good question. Bracketology, we will take a look. This was updated earlier today at 9 o'clock. Indiana was the last team in. They will still be the last team in, I think, tomorrow morning unless somebody loses. And let's look for Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio, hey. Right now, Indiana would play New Mexico. And Ohio State would play Santa Clara in a play-in. Ohio State, what an advantage that would be. You got Santa Clara coming from California, for God's sake. Ohio State coming from right up the road in Columbus. I think that'd be terrible. Wisconsin a 7, Michigan State a 2, Miami of Florida an 8 with Malik Renew. Yikes. I got to tell you, I'm just as happy that he's not along for this ride. I know we'd be better. Miami of Ohio, an 11 seed, playing against Kentucky in the first round. Ooh. How much fun would that be? Travis Steele, Ben Botts, Peter Suter going up against the Wildcats, who have really underachieved all year long. I'm not sure what to expect, but excited about your kid. Congrats to you as well. Here's what you expect with a kid. You're going to know what to do. Kids have been born and grown into adulthood forever, for as long as humans have been here. And the thing that the best parents do, they take it as it comes. They're not Tom Crean with set substitution patterns. You got to take it as it comes. You got to be variable in your approach. You've got to trust your kid. You have to let your kid know you trust your kid, and your kid needs to trust you. That's key, and that happens from the jump. Just don't manage the kid. Let the kid grow. Let the kid develop. Put your arm around the kid. Give advice where needed. Don't lead the kid. Let the kid lead you down the path that kid is supposed to travel. That is great advice. Take lots of pictures. Let him be himself from the start. That's 100% right, Fireman Jeff. You're going to love this person more than you knew you were capable of. 100% right. Indiana gets the win. Breakfast with Kent early tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. I cannot wait to talk to you then. What a good night. I'll put the hat back up on the speaker, and off we go.